Hey guys, this is Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. In this video, I'm going to cover how to improve your immune system or boost your immune system with a common sense approach. And what I mean by that is this. I was watching a video recently from an influencer who was very critical of the whole immune boosting idea, protocols behind it, those sorts of things. And I think she had some very good points to bring out. For example, we will see kind of shady companies take out these very small studies and extrapolate them out and say that they can help millions of people, and they use just kind of shady tactics to draw people into these things. However, I think the flip side of that coin is valid as well, which is there are things out there that you can do naturally that will improve your immune system. I know this because there are studies that support these things, and they're very safe, they're very natural things, and I know this as well because I do these things personally. This is not to say I never get sick. It's impossible for somebody to never catch something, but it is very rare that I get sick or catch anything. And when I do, I generally get through it a bit quicker than most people. But if you're somebody who finds yourself catching colds and flus very frequently, then this is for you. Okay, so I want to hop right into this. We already talked about the critics. I think there's a middle road there. Now, what I want to focus on is kind of three buckets. The first one is we have to look at what you're doing right now and eliminate anything that might be hurting your immune system. That's step one. So let's talk about that. One of the most common things I find that people are doing to suppress or hurt their immune system is they do extreme diets. Now, here's the problem. What do I mean by extreme diets? Well, for example, right now we have keto, we have carnivore, we have vegan. We have these diets that tend to vilify one macronutrient. And let's take, for example, carbohydrates. They're like carbohydrates suppress the immune system. Carbohydrates do this, carbohydrates do that. A couple of problems there. Number one, this is not true of natural carbohydrates. Processed carbohydrates, agreed, not good. You shouldn't be consuming them. But for natural carbohydrates, that's not the case, because if you don't consume them and you do that on a long enough basis, your body responds by increasing stress hormones to make glucose through other resources, whether that be fat or protein. Okay, glucose is your body's preferred fuel source, so it will induce a stress response. Anything that's stressful to your body, and obviously we'll talk about this, is going to suppress your immune system. Okay, so this is part of why these extreme diets, are problematic. So you want to move away from that. Another stressor is lack of sleep. Now, kind of tying into the first thing, I find a lot of people on extreme diets suffer with poor sleep. So we can kind of kill two birds with one stone by moving away from these extreme diets. Excess alcohol, obviously bad for a couple of reasons. We're talking liver function, we're talking sleep quality, smoking or vaping. Again, some of these things you might look at and go, well, yeah, but it's good to be reminded, because while they are things, so many people do them. Emotional, mental, physical stress. If you have a demanding job, if you're working out too much, I mentioned that in the last one. If you're, nothing against CrossFit, there's some people that are in tremendous shape, but it is very stressful on the body. I'm just using that as an example. But any sort of workout where you're constantly stressing the body, you do need rest and recovery. Undereating is a huge one. You have to fuel your body. Okay, a lot of people equate weight loss with decreased calories and calorie deficits, but what they're missing is you have to take into account what your metabolism is. The less you eat, the more you're going to tank your metabolism over time, and that's not what we want for a robust metabolism. Okay, so those are some things that you can eliminate. Now we want to focus on fueling your body, and I've touched on these a little bit already. As a broad overview, what you want to be eating in a way that fuels your body, that means whole foods, that means animal-based foods, and that means a mix of foods. You need fat, you need carbs, you need protein. Now, people will go, well, you don't need carbs, you can live without them. And I'm like, you can survive without them, yes. But again, we're a stress-based response to that, which is not going to be good for your immune system or your overall health. So we want all three macros. For protein, you want a wide mix of proteins. You don't want to just eat muscle meats. You want to eat organ meat. You want to eat raw dairy, cheese, yogurt, some of those things, gelatin, bone broths, wide variety of proteins. I would eat them at 0.6 to 0.82 grams per pound of body weight. Okay, that's just a good general rule of thumb that will give you enough protein to to help you perform all your body functions. And you don't need to go to that high end of 1 gram per pound. Yes, there is the thermic effect of food. It can potentially help you lose some weight, but it also can potentially cause some issues that are problematic for people. So this is kind of a sweet spot. As far as fats, you want to focus on consuming saturated and monosaturated fats. I just tell people, cook in butter or coconut oil. If you want to, maybe a little ghee, but those three will have you covered as far as the saturated fat source. Above all else, avoid PUFAs, avoid seed oils. That means corn oil, canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. All those processed oils tank your metabolism, cause a number of issues, not good for your immune system or overall health. Carb sources need to be natural. I touched on this earlier. Ripe fruits, real orange juice, maple syrup, honey, rice, potatoes. Rice and potatoes, if you're coming from an extreme background, keto or carnivore, and you're adding carbs back in, rice and potatoes may need to wait. Some people struggle with those early on. Or some of your fruit vegetables like pumpkins and squash, that kind of thing. Also, as far as fueling your body is sun exposure. I realize I'm in a northern climate. We're going into winter. Sun is hard to come by, but you can still get some sun exposure in the winter. You can use vitamin D lamps, red light therapy. You want to mimic that sun exposure as much as possible. Now let's talk about supplements and therapies that I personally use that have been proven to work. I'm going to start with PEMF therapy. Search my channel. I've done a bunch of videos on PEMF therapy. It's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Now, some of these are not cheap. Some of these are fairly cheap, so your mileage is going to vary. However, PEMF therapy has been shown to improve the immune system. In fact, one of the things that they're not recommending PEMF therapy be used for is people who have undergone organ transplants, because when they do that, they try to suppress the immune system. When somebody does PEMF therapy, it actually will stimulate or boost the immune system, essentially. Plenty of science behind this. And again, I have other videos going through that. Stem cell therapy is also one that has been shown to increase immune system response. Yes, stem cell therapy can be expensive. There are ways to get it much more inexpensively. This is something I do yearly as kind of my wellness protocol, but also very effective. And again, I want to point out, if you have questions on some of these things, make sure and go grab your free checklist. I talk about these things in much more detail there. Oregano oil, not super expensive, is something that you can have. We always have it in our house. If somebody comes down with something, we immediately start with the oregano oil. Vitamin C can be helpful. I no longer megadose with vitamin C every day. I believe it's more harmful than good. However, that does not make vitamin C bad. Again, I have other videos on this. Megadosing with vitamin C when something comes on can be very helpful for a lot of disease states. And then finally, vitamin D. I no longer supplement with vitamin D. Again, I've done a video on that if you want to look for that. But I do try my best in the winter months to get sun exposure to produce vitamin D. If I can't, I do have a vitamin D lamp that I use to get vitamin D. It is critical for immune function. But those are kind of my go-tos. Are there other supplements or modalities that could potentially help? Yes, but I've focused on the ones that have helped me the most, and that's why I would suggest you focus on those as well. We don't want to get too carried away with having 80 supplements in your kitchen cabinet. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comments if there's other topics that you'd like me to cover. That's helpful for me to produce content that you guys benefit from. And also make sure to go sign up for your checklist at the website there. I hope this was helpful. See you in the next one. Thank you.